The devastating conflict in Ethiopia is intensifying. Forces from the embattled region of Tigray are ramping up operations, taking aim at key cities closer to the capital. Officials say they've started seizing new strongholds south of the Tigrayan region, sparking renewed concerns over a growing humanitarian crisis. So for more on this, let's bring in Debora Patta, who's joining us from Johannesburg. So Debora, this is a story that we have been kind of following off and on. Before we sort of bring people up to speed and give them the history, as a reminder, what's happening right now? What's the latest?
Well, Anne-Marie, grim developments are not looking good for Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed 1 year after he sent in troops who committed unspeakable atrocities in an attempt to crush the rebellious Tigray region. The army he sought to defeat is now heading down the highway towards the capital of Addis Ababa. Abiy was condemned internationally for attacking Tigray, and now the fate of his regime hangs in the balance. Over the weekend, fighters from the Tigrayan Defense Force seized control of parts of Dessie. It's a city just under 250 miles from Addis Ababa, and also captured Kimbolcha with its major airport. Now, these cities essentially control access to a major highway leading to the capital. Abiy gambled everything on a massive offensive that he actually launched on the 9th of October, throwing tens of thousands of very poorly trained and poorly equipped soldiers into the fight and bragging it would take 10 days, just 10 days, to recapture Mekelle, Tigray's capital, which was captured by the rebels in June. That offensive, of course, as we know now, has completely collapsed. And now the capture of these towns by rebels is probably, Anne-Marie, the most decisive in the year-long conflict with the Ethiopian government forces, and led Abiy, in fact, to call for loyalists to double efforts to defend the seat of power, use any type of weapons to block this disruptive push, he said, to overturn it, to bury it. Dying for Ethiopia is a duty for all of us, the Prime Minister said. Anne-Marie?
Wow. So let us go back, because this conflict has been going on for a while now. It's sort of ramped up with the election of Abiy. Can you sort of take us through how we got here?
Well, it's complicated and probably quite simple at the same time, Anne-Marie. Ethiopia, as you know, is a multi-ethnic country with a long history of inter-ethnic violence and resentment. The country, in fact, has 80 ethnic groups, but the top 5, which include Oromo, Amhara, Tigrayan, Afar, and Somali, they represent about 85% of the population. The political system that kept these tensions in check, however, has completely broken down. Now, the immediate trigger for this military conflict was, in fact, Tigray's decision to hold an unauthorized election in 2020 after Abiy postponed the country's elections, citing the pandemic as the pretext. Then on the 4th of November, that was last year, Abiy sent in a combination of the Ethiopian military and Amhara militias into Tigray, saying that he was responding to an attack by the Tigray military on a government military camp. Now, the ensuing conflict has been horrific, several 100,000 estimated dead. But the problem is nobody actually knows the exact numbers. That is an estimation, as very few independent journalists have in fact been near the battlefields. Amhara fighters have been accused of ethnic cleansing of Tigrayan villages, and Amnesty International claimed that troops from neighboring Eritrea massacred hundreds of unarmed Tigrayan civilians as well. The war has also led to frequent claims of rapes, of massacre, enslavement, and widespread humanitarian abuses. So it's been a dismal state of affairs, Anne-Marie, for the past year.
And of course, it has also led to a humanitarian crisis. As you point out, we don't even really have an accurate gauge of what's happening there. So I imagine humanitarian organizations can't get in there to help. How bad is it? And how is the U.S. reacting to all of this?
Well, Abiy has blocked food aid convoys from reaching up to 1 million people, mostly women and children, who are actually near starvation in the region where the conflict is taking place. And United Nations officials who complain that using hunger as a weapon was a war crime They were expelled from the country. So documenting the suffering, as you've mentioned and I spoke about earlier, has been very difficult with many aid organizations, including the UN, Doctors Without Borders and the Norwegian Refugee Council. They've actually just been banned from the country. So this has become an increasingly problem and obviously making it really difficult to get aid. It's estimated that about 4.5 million people are in need of aid and about 1 million are in areas that are inaccessible. In June, the UN estimated that 400,000 people were already at risk of famine-like conditions. So, you know, it's been very, very rough in that region. International reaction has been very muted. And with all the attention, as we know now, focused on COP26 over the next 2 weeks, the growing tensions there might even go unnoticed. But the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, has said on Twitter in the past few days that Washington is alarmed by reports of the takeover of those two towns, saying continued fighting would prolong the dire humanitarian crisis. And in addition, the US is considering suspending Ethiopia's duty-free market status, citing those human rights abuses we spoke about earlier, and of course the growing famine. Now, the suspension of those benefits, Anne-Marie, would threaten Ethiopia's aspiration to become what really would be a manufacturing hub and be a huge blow for its hard-won economic gains. Abiy's incitement of ethnic hatred has seriously undermined his standing. As you know, he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. And if he falls, he'll simply leave behind a shattered country and a devastated economy, Anne-Marie.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. Debora Patta, thank you so much.